Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome back to our newest episode of the All of Fabric modded Minecraft series. We are working today with Modern Industrialization. If you look down, I've been digging quite a bit. I have a level down to 16, and I have a level all the way down to minus 59. And we've been digging with our steam mining drill, just collecting resources like mad. What I did is I set up 3 different tanks, one that stores ores, one that stores blocks, and one that voids blocks that are in excess. So since I get so much stone and so much deep slate, now that I have a stack of 4,096, anything after that gets voided. And I can change those out on the fly. I set up these new rooms over here. This is going to be like our main hallway for technology rooms, and then I'm going to have a room for each of the technologies. This will probably get changed and expanded as we go, but I started building our Modern Industrialization room. We had just had it in a corner of our storeroom over there before, but now we're going to give it its own room. We've moved some of the things over here that we had, and then we had already built the macerator in the last episode for Modern Industrialization. Now I built us a bronze boiler. So the way that the power system works in Modern Industrialization is that we have a boiler, we put water in it, we put fuel in it, and it creates steam, and then that steam is used to power the machines. The reason we had done the macerator first is because macerator can be used to process ores and get more out of each ore than just mining them normally. So our steam mining drill silk touches them, we get them collected in our ores here, and then we process them. Each ore becomes 3 raw iron, and then when we process the raw iron again, we have a 1. It guarantees that it gives us 1, and there's a 50% chance it'll give us another piece of iron. So we get between 3 and 4 ore from every, or between 3 and 6 technically, but we average 4.5 pieces of iron ore for each, or iron dust for each iron ore. So it's much more efficient than just mining directly with a pickaxe. And we could do that same system using the forge hammer, but first of all, it is time consuming, and second of all, it is very hard on iron because these iron hammers are not cheap. So we got the macerator set up. That way we can get lots and lots of ores that we need for the rest of the process. And then I went through and I bookmarked all of the things we need for this next tier of Modern Industrialization. We actually already made the boiler, so we can take that off. But so now we have a whole list of things that we need to make in order to get into the next level. Our goal is to get all of these done and then move into steel at this stage of the quest book. So it's going to take quite a bit of time to build all the things and then get them set up and learn how they work. But so that's going to be our goal for today. I'm going to get started on crafting all of these items. A lot of them use lots and lots of bronze and other things, so it's going to take quite a bit of time. But I'll get it all set up, and then I'll come back once I have all of the machines crafted and in place, and we can start figuring out how they work together. I got a good bit of our machines set up here. First things first, let's show you how the boiler is working. So what I did is I put in a kitchen sink, which is kind of a bit of a cheaty way to have an infinite water source that you can pump from, but that's what we're using. So it's providing water through this pipe into the bronze boiler, so it has constant water, and then charcoal provides fuel so that it keeps temperature and produces steam. I have pipe coming out of it that connects to all these other machines, providing steam to them. All these other machines run off of steam. So then we have a macerator, which we're using at the moment to process ores, and we are turning our copper ore into a large amount of copper dust. We have a furnace, which we've been using to make bricks, because we need that to make the different, to make what we're working on now, which is the coke oven. There's a cutting machine, which we haven't gotten into yet, because we need to get to the point where we can make lubricant using the mixer. And then we have our compressor. The compressor is an interesting one, because basically, let me bring up the recipe for the compressor so you can see it. The compressor recipe uses the forge hammer that we used to have over here. And so basically this is just a steam powered version of that. And so a lot of the recipes that we were using, like we could make curved copper plates in a forge hammer, now we're making it in the compressor. So we're basically doing it without the tools, and we can do it, automate it. There is still quite a bit of steps in crafting all these different machine parts. So eventually we're going to have to get all these machines set up, and then we're going to set up automation to do auto crafting with them. But that's getting the cart before the horse a little bit. Right now our next step is that we want to make lubricant, which requires creosote, which we make in the coke oven. So the coke oven is a multi-block, so we need to get all the different parts of it. The next thing we need to make is the fluid input and the fluid output. We ran out of bronze to do that, so that's what we're working. We have some, but I don't have quite enough. So we're working on making more bronze. So bronze is made, if we look at the recipe for that, it is made by cooking off bronze dust, which is made with 3 copper and 1 tin. So I'm processing a whole bunch of copper right now into copper dust, and we'll combine that with tin dust to make more bronze, and then we'll get the last few of these pieces done, and we'll get the coke oven set up. The coke oven is a multi-block structure, like I said, and so I think we're going to make another room just for multi-blocks on this side of the base. So I'll work on digging that out while we wait for our copper and our tin to process, because they're pretty slow. And then once we do, we'll set up our multi-block over in the new room that I set up. Gotten all the parts for the coke oven built, and I did make a big room over here, thinking that I would put all the multi-block machines in it. But when I was looking at the book, the coke oven needs to have steam come into it, so that's how it processes the coal into coal coke. So I made a small room on this side. So if we look in this wall, this is on the other side of where that steam pipe is, so I can put the coke oven here in this corner and then be able to run the steam through the wall. I know that this is a lot of stone brick building, but that's kind of what I was going for, because this is all the industrial area. I probably will change floors out and stuff later so that I have some more decorations, but I wanted it to be a very like stone-like building, because it's, you know, all the steam and everything. But we'll come up with a design for it later. But for now, this is what we're going to do. So I am going to build our coke oven here in this room. So the coke oven, when we look at the book, this actually also shows us all the recipes that the quest book that gave us. We need 21 books and 3 hatches, 21 bricks and 3 hatches, as well as the controller. So it says the coke oven block here has the role of the controller. So coke oven block is this one. So let's take a look at how this is done. So I guess we can place the hatches however we want. So the first thing I want to do is we're going to need the fluid input hatch. So let's put that in this corner. And then we can come through here and connect up our steam a while, which is going to be kind of a pain to do because of the wall here, but I got to go grab my wrench in the next room.
Okay, so we're probably gonna have to break some of this wall just so we can get in here. So we want to connect this pipe up to the other steam, and then we will come through here again, and we'll replace that wall once we're done. But let's connect this here. Okay, so that's the fluid input hatch. Let's bring the book back up. So it looks like the room is 3 blocks tall by 3 blocks wide. So I want to put the fluid output hatch on this side, because then we can make a tank over here to put the creosote in. And I think we'll put the controller on the floor, see if we can do that. And then we'll put bricks in like this. And then we can put our item input on this side. And we can always change this up if we don't like how it is when we're done. But for now, this is how it's going to go. And then we'll put 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then it says if we click on here, maybe I did something wrong because that didn't work. Once the coke oven says shape valid, fill the input. Okay, so let's bring this back up. First step is to make coke by heating coal without oxygen. For that, you need to build a coke oven. So these are all the things we need to build. Hold a wrench to see the missing blocks and the errors. Is this maybe... Looks like that's working. Shape invalid. Let's try, maybe it's because this is on the ground. We'll put that there, and we'll put the controller here. Shape invalid. Oh, let's try putting these on the ground, because that's how the book had them. So item input, item output, and then put these two here. There we go. Shape valid active. Okay, so if we put coal in here, interesting. So it's using coal. We're making coal coke. And then if I look at this, this is going to be where the creosote comes out, right? Guess we have to wait for it to get done. 99%. Okay, so it made 1 piece of coke, and for that it made 500 millibuckets. Okay, so we'll let that go for another minute. And the reason that we needed the creosote, again, was to make this. So we put 500 millibuckets of creosote and 1 piece of redstone, and we get 500 millibuckets of lubricant. So once we get a bucket full here, we can move it. We may end up moving machines around quite a bit once we know how they all work, because having the mixer right next to that might be a good idea so we can pipe the creosote in, but for now we can do it with buckets. That's no problem at all. So we grab a bucket. Now we have a bucket of creosote. And we will put that in here. And we will grab some redstone. 2 pieces. So if I did that correctly, we should end up with a bucket of lubricant. Okay. And that is what we use for the cutting machine. There we go. Beautiful. So let's check our quest book. So we have finished quite a few things in here. Furnace. We now made coke, so we need to do... Let's go grab the coke so we can finish that up. Okay. So then we're going to check this quest out. We also need to make coke dust, so that we put in through the macerator. We just happen to be empty at the moment, so let's just do one just to see how it works. Cool. So that's that quest completed. We get a block of coke for it. We need to make a bronze water pump. Make that in a minute. But so the next thing we need to do is make the water pump so that we can make the steam blast furnace. And this is another multi-block structure that we're going to have to make. So I'm going to collect everything we need to make this, and then we'll get ready to set that up. This is the last step we need in order to make steel. So if we look at the recipe for steel, we need steel dust, which is made... where is the... I don't know if it's going to show us the multi-block structure for it, but if we check in our book here, let's go back. We are going to upgrading to steel, so... Oh, no, that's not what I want. I want to do... Your first steel, is that it? Yeah, there we go. So this says the steam blast furnace is same as the coke ovens, with bricks replaced by fire clay bricks and one extra hollow layer on top. Interesting. Yeah, see, the bronze water pump will make, but we already cheated that with the kitchen sink, so that's okay. So we'll get to, like I said, I'll collect all the things I need for the steel, which is the fire clay bricks, which are made with brick dust and clay, and I will make the steam blast furnace and that and all the other blocks we need for it in the quest book, and then we'll be able to start making steel for the very first time. I've gotten everything I need for the steam blast furnace set up and ready to go. What we need in order to make steel once we have it going is this uncooked steel dust. So 7 iron, 2 coke dust, which I got from the coke oven, makes uncooked steel. So we'll put that aside for now. I wanted to show you this wrench. I put together the furnace almost completely ahead of time, but so just because it's the same as the coke oven, so it's not really that interesting. But if you hold the wrench and hold it up when you're trying to assemble this, it'll show you where the pieces need to go. I just thought that was interesting, so I wanted to share it. So there we go, we have that set up. If we go back here, I ran the steam pipe back through here to the back of the steam blast furnace, which means that we can see that it's active, it's valid. So all we need to do is take uncooked steel dust. At least I thought all we had to do. Oh, that's the output. I got it backwards. Input. Uncooked steel dust. This will cook and will provide us with steel. A couple other things I wanted to show you. I accidentally made a couple of bronze or copper ladders, because copper ladders are made... Let's see. Which one is the one that I made? They're made in a cutting machine by putting a plate in. I actually wanted to put the plate in the compressor, put it in the wrong thing. Got some ladders. So I decided to use them for decoration. holding back the water that I put in here. This water is an infinite source so that we can go up and grab water for our steam drill, or if we need to get a bucket of water, we just grab it and it'll automatically fill itself. Speaking of water, I did make the bronze water pump, which can be used. Let's demonstrate it down here. If you put down ooh, there's a hole down there. Interesting. If you put the bronze water pump down and then you have water nearby, it will pump out water very, very slowly, but it'll pump out water. I decided to use the kitchen sink that I showed you before to kind of cheese that, but I'm going to stick with it. But I did make it for the quest line, so I wanted to show it to you. If we look at the quests, we now have everything done up until the steam blast furnace. Oh, actually, we need to have the 29 clay blocks in our hand. You know what? Let's see. Shift. That should do it. Why is it only giving me 12 out of 29? I have 29. Yeah, well, we'll fix that later. But now you can see how this is set up. You just have the bricks along the bottom in a flat layer, and then there's a 3x3 in the back. And on the side, the middle is hollow, like a chimney. And last few blocks, there we go. Now it's working again. It's interesting that it keeps the data from where it was at. So yeah, I'll have to figure out why that's not completing. But anyway, that finishes the steam blast furnace, and then we will have our first steel finish too, which means we can start working on steel machines, and we can start working on different types of drills for the quarry, and all different kinds of things. So it opens up the gateway into the next level in modern industrialization. But that's pretty much everything we need for the steam machines. And the steel will allow us to start upgrading those to a higher level. So next episode, I'm going to keep working with modern industrialization. I'm going to start working on higher tier machines. And we're going to start actually building these rooms out so that they are a little more organized, because when I'm building these, I didn't know exactly what works with what and where we need it. So we'll organize it a little bit and start doing some actual automation now that we have all the machines up and running. But I hope you enjoyed watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.